In the heart of ancient Israel lay the small village of Kiryat Yearim. This village was known for its serene beauty and the mysterious relic it guarded, the Forgotten Ark. Unlike the famed Ark of the Covenant, this ark was shrouded in legend and secrecy, believed to hold untold powers that could alter the fate of nations. The year was 1020 BCE, and Israel was under constant threat from the Philistines, a formidable enemy with a thirst for conquest. The Philistines had already captured several Israelite cities, and their next target was Jerusalem. The elders of Israel, desperate and fearful, convened a secret council in Kiryat Yearim. Among them was Eliab, a wise and respected leader, who spoke of the Forgotten Ark. "The Ark has been hidden for centuries," Eliab began, his voice echoing in the dimly lit chamber. "It is said to possess the power to turn the tide of any battle. We must retrieve it and use it to defend our people." The council was divided. Some feared the Ark's unknown powers, while others saw it as their only hope. After much debate, it was decided that a small group of warriors, led by Eliab's son, Jonathan, would embark on a perilous journey to retrieve the Ark. Jonathan, a brave and skilled warrior, gathered his most trusted companions: Miriam, a fierce archer with unmatched precision; Asher, a giant of a man with unparalleled strength; and Deborah, a healer with a deep connection to the divine. Together, they set out under the cover of night, guided by ancient maps and Eliab's wisdom. Their journey was fraught with danger. They traversed treacherous mountains, crossed raging rivers, and faced wild beasts. Each step brought them closer to the Ark, but also closer to the Philistine scouts who had caught wind of their mission. One night, as they camped near a dense forest, Jonathan shared a dream he had. "I saw the Ark, glowing with a divine light," he said. "But I also saw a great battle, with our people standing victorious. We must succeed, for the fate of Israel rests on our shoulders." After weeks of travel, the group finally reached the hidden temple where the Ark was kept. The temple was ancient, its walls covered in vines and inscriptions in a forgotten language. As they entered, a sense of awe and reverence washed over them. In the center of the temple, on a stone pedestal, rested the forgotten Arkansas. It was smaller than they had imagined, but its presence was overwhelming. Jonathan approached it cautiously, and as he touched it, a surge of energy coursed through him. "We have found it," he whispered. "Now, we must return to Jerusalem and prepare for the battle." Word of the Ark's retrieval spread quickly, and the people of Israel rallied behind Jonathan and his companions. The Philistines, sensing the shift in morale, launched a full-scale assault on Jerusalem. The city was on the brink of falling when Jonathan arrived with the Ark. As the Philistine forces breached the city walls, Jonathan and his companions stood at the forefront, the Ark glowing with an ethereal light. The battle was fierce, with both sides fighting with all their might. But the Ark's power was undeniable. It seemed to guide the Israelites, giving them strength and courage. Miriam's arrows flew true, striking down enemy commanders. Asher's strength was unmatched, breaking through enemy lines. Deborah's healing touch revived fallen warriors, and Jonathan, with the Ark by his side, led the charge. The Philistines, overwhelmed by the Ark's power and the Israelites' resolve, began to falter. Victory seemed within reach, but the battle was far from over. The battle raged on, with the Philistines pushing hard against the Israelites' defenses. The air was thick with the sounds of clashing swords, the cries of the wounded, and the fervent prayers of the faithful. Jonathan, with the Ark by his side, felt a surge of determination. He knew that the fate of Israel depended on their victory. As the sun began to set, casting an orange glow over the battlefield, a sudden calm fell upon the Israelites. The Ark's light grew brighter, and a sense of divine presence filled their hearts. Jonathan raised his sword high, calling out to his warriors, "Stand firm, my brothers and sisters. The Lord is with us." With renewed vigor, the Israelites launched a counterattack. Miriam's arrows found their marks with unerring accuracy, and Asher's mighty blows scattered the Philistine ranks. Deborah moved through the battlefield, her healing touch bringing strength to the weary and hope to the despairing. Just as victory seemed within reach, a towering figure emerged from the Philistine lines. clad in dark armor and wielding a massive spear. The Philistine champion, Goliath of Gath, stepped forward. His presence struck fear into the hearts of the Israelites, and even Jonathan felt a moment of doubt. Goliath's voice boomed across the battlefield. "Israelites, send forth your greatest warrior to face me. Let us settle this battle with single combat." Out of nowhere emerged David, a shepherd boy, who volunteered to face the giant Goliath. He stepped forward, meeting the giant's gaze. The two warriors squared off, the fate of their nations hanging in the balance. The duel between David and Goliath was fierce and brutal. Goliath's strength was immense, and his spear strikes were like thunderbolts. But David, guided by the ark's divine light, moved with agility and precision. Each clash of their weapons sent sparks flying, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. As the duel wore on, David began to tire. Goliath's relentless attacks pushed him to the brink of exhaustion. But in his moment of greatest need, David felt a surge of energy from the Arkansas. He remembered his father's words and the dreams that had guided him. With a final, desperate effort, David dodged Goliath's spear and struck with all his might. His sword found a gap in the giant's armor, and Goliath fell to the ground with a thunderous crash. The Philistine champion was defeated. The fall of Goliath sent shockwaves through the Philistine ranks. Their morale shattered, and they began to retreat. But the Israelites knew that the battle was not yet won. Jonathan rallied his warriors for one final push. "Do not let them escape, for Israel and for the Lord." With the ark's light guiding them, the Israelites pursued the fleeing Philistines. The battle reached its climax as the two armies clashed one last time. The Philistines fought desperately, but the Israelites' resolve was unbreakable. As the Israelites pressed their advantage, the Philistines' retreat turned into a rout. The ark's light seemed to grow even brighter, casting an ethereal glow over the battlefield. The Israelites fought with a fervor that could only be described as divine inspiration. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted from the ark, and a figure appeared in its midst. It was an angel, radiant and awe-inspiring, with wings that shimmered like gold. The angel's voice echoed across the battlefield, commanding both armies to halt. "Behold, the power of the Lord Almighty," the angel proclaimed. "This battle shall end, and peace shall reign. The Philistines shall return to their lands, and Israel shall be free from their oppression." The Philistines, struck with fear and awe, dropped their weapons and fled. The Israelites, too, were awestruck, falling to their knees in reverence. The angel turned to Jonathan and his companions, a look of approval in its eyes. "You have shown great courage and faith," the angel said. "The ark shall remain with you, a symbol of the Lord's covenant with his people. Guard it well, for it holds the power to protect and guide Israel." With the Philistines in full retreat, the Israelites returned to Jerusalem in triumph. The city was filled with joy and celebration, and Jonathan and his companions were hailed as heroes. The ark was placed in a sacred chamber within the temple, where it would be guarded and revered. Eliab, proud of his son's bravery, addressed the people. "Let this victory be a reminder of the Lord's power and our duty to uphold his covenant. We must remain vigilant and faithful, for the ark's power is both a blessing and a responsibility." As the days turned into weeks, the story of the Forgotten Ark spread throughout Israel. It became a symbol of hope and divine protection, inspiring the people to live in accordance with their faith.